I finally realize that you made these choices to hurt so many little girls. You have brought these consequences upon yourself, and you have to live with the effects of them. Just as I will have to live with the pain, betrayal, and heartache you caused when you put your selfish desires ahead of my well-being. And the disturbing truth is, you could have been stopped back in 1997. You know that a teammate and I brought concerns about what you were doing to Kathy Klages on the same night. She was a person I looked up to. She was a person I thought had my back. But instead of notifying authorities or even my parents, we were interrogated. Imagine that. I don't know if she told you about that night, but she interrogated us. We were led to believe that we were misunderstanding a medical technique. Do you know how she came to that conclusion? Was it when she called you and talked to you about it? She conducted her own unqualified investigation. She humiliated and silenced me as she began to call in all of my Spartan Youth teammates into her office. While I sat there in humiliation, she asked them in small groups if they ever felt uncomfortable with the treatments from you. All but the one other girl said no. There was one more who had experienced the same abuse. Do you remember who that was, Larry? She already spoke to you the other day. Kathy continued her interrogation of us by pulling the MSU college-level gymnasts into the office. She left the room. We sat on the green carpet in her office, talking to these girls that we looked up to. Can you, even for 1 second, begin to imagine the humiliation I felt when the college gymnasts came into Kathy's office to explain their treatments with you? I told somebody. I told an adult. I told Michigan State University back in 1997. Instead of being protected, I was humiliated, I was in trouble, and brainwashed into believing that I was the problem. This MSU employee then fed me back to you, the wolf, to continue to be devoured. Instead of taking the right steps to report my concerns, she betrayed my confidence. Do you remember talking to her? Do you remember when she called and told you about my concerns? Was I the first person that brought issues of your abuse to light? How did you spin that? Kathy only empowered you by telling you that I spoke up about it. Had I known that you were such close friends, I would have never told her. She put her friendship with you above all the concerns I had. She protected you over me, a child. Kathy enabled and emboldened your pedophilia, which only continued to allow you to prey on hundreds of innocent victims, many who are sitting in this room. They should not be here. Some weren't even born yet. I dreaded my next appointment with you because I was afraid that Kathy was going to tell you about my concerns. And unfortunately, I was right. I felt ashamed, embarrassed, and overwhelmed that I had talked to Kathy about this. I vividly remember when you walked into that room, closed the door behind you, pulled up your stool and sat down in front of me and said, "So, I talked to Kathy." As soon as I heard those words, my heart sank. My confidence had been betrayed. I wanted to crawl into the deepest, darkest hole and hide. Instead, feeling trapped, I sat there listening to you explain away your abuse, listening to you tell me that my intuitions were wrong, listening to you take away any ounce of strength and confidence I had left. Through this belittlement, I felt the need to apologize to you. I apologized to you. I told you how sorry I was for the misunderstanding that happened and that it was all my fault.